New Year, and then you can ask people from then on, Adrian. How does that sound?
Sounds all right. I just went to like a bar for New Year's, so
Nice.
that's just sort of it, really.
No,
Just went out with a...
no kissing anybody other than family, I hope.
No, of course not.
Where did you go? Because what was this? Oh, you had to book, didn't you, in Melbourne? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you go in the CBD or just?
No, I went here in Footscray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I wish I'd known. Me and Oliver got pizza and went home and had a pizza party.
Oh.
Everyone loves a good pizza party.
Exactly.
Did he stay up till midnight, Steve?
Yeah, well and
Did
truly. Yeah. There was a few random fireworks that went off around us, but that was all. Yeah. All right, Adrian, I'll let you go around the screen.
Okay, Jake, what'd you do for your New Year's?
So during the day we went to a brewery, so that was pretty fun. So I spent the day at the brewery and then went to a friend's house that night to kind of bring in the New Year, which was lots of fun. So yeah, I had a great New Year's Eve.
And I'm not sure if it's just because you haven't got your glasses on, but your eyes look a bit tired even now. Are you back? Are you back in you're back in Adelaide now?
Yeah, back in. I literally just got back from holiday last night. So
yeah,
I've been kind of on the beach in the south of Adelaide for the last week. So yes, I am a little wary under the eyes this morning.
What did you have? It wasn't it 40 something yesterday, or?
Yeah, 38.
38.
38 again today.
Hannah, what did you get up to?
I went over to Stradbroke Island. So, heaps of people go over there for New Year's. My friends had a house. We went to the surf club during the day and then, went back to a house with heaps of friends, which was fun.
Nice. A few house parties. What about Ben? Did you go to the casino?
I did not go to the casino. I went to a onesie party and got absolutely paralytic.
Party? A one-two?
A onesie.
Yeah.
A onesie.
I posted it on socials. I was in a kangaroo onesie. I was in a kangaroo onesie and I wore it on the train, and it was bloody hot. It was ridiculously hot on the train, but that was a good bit of fun. But yeah, I had work New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, so it wasn't too bad. But I had a fair amount to drink, to say the least. I don't think I had the most to drink here. I think I'll take that award to Hayley when she jumps on. But but I had a significant amount. I think I've still got the aftermath of it here, which is a little bit less.
Well, it's just a terrible thought of how much sweat you would have poured out into the onesie on New Year's Eve, and alcohol. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anthony, you look like you looked after yourself over the break.
I didn't on the weekend. I had my brother-in-law's bus that I organised, and that was just 3 days of solid drinking. But yeah, my New Year's, me and the missus, we had her grandma over, and we had a pizza party too. And yeah, we went and picked her up, brought her back to my place, and then we hung out, watched TV, and the fireworks around my joint go off from 9 o'clock to 12:30. So we were just hearing those all night, and then at midnight we just went outside to the park, and 360-degree of fireworks for 15-20 minutes.
I reckon hanging out with a toddler or with your nana is going to guarantee a well-behaved New Year's Eve. Pretty much.
Right.
How about you, Emily? Your plans must have been slightly different to what you thought they were going to be, right?
Yeah, I was supposed to still be in Newcastle, so clearly I am not. So that's kind of a bummer. That's okay. Honestly, by the time it had gotten to New Year's, I had spent the whole week doing family events that I went to bed early and was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm going to bed. So it was not that interesting. I had more exciting times over Christmas.
Yeah.
Did you still go to Newcastle?
No. And
Because of the border. Yeah.
Yeah, and now we're locked down, so it's not worth it. Yeah.
It's funny how
Are
the
you locked
tables turned.
I know. We're out of it tonight, though.
I know.
3 days.
It's like an Adelaide
Everyone
lockdown.
complaining for 3 days.
Yeah.
I talked to my family this morning, and I was like, "Yeah, we're locked down for 3 days," and they're like, "Are you?" Like, only 3 days. Hey. Yeah, only 3 days.
Yeah. You guys, that's right. You don't know lockdown yet.
Yeah.
No.
Can't really complain.
Now, Hayley Gaffney.
So I didn't really mind it.
Hayley Gaffney's name's already been used, but she has been behaving herself. Is that right, Hayley?
Oh, frozen.
Frozen, Hayley.
Frozen. First one. Oh, you took that straight out of my mouth. I was saying the exact same thing.
Frozen Hayley. Oh, she'll come back soon. Oh, she's back.
Hang on.
I'm not going to share her story, but Hayley's had to stay positive from 1st of Jan. Here we go.
Hey.
Yeah, she's back. She's back. How you feeling?
Yeah, I feel okay. My sleep schedule is messed up. I get up at 5:30.
Yeah. Well, I haven't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ben reckoned that
what's wrong with my internet. It's going crazy.
Ben reckoned that you would have given it more of a nudge than him on New Year's Eve, but I didn't think you did. Is that fair to say? Oh, slow Hayley.
I do not have the worst internet connection for once.
There you go. Well, I'm sure Hayley often blames me for the internet connection, and I guess this is living proof that it can't be my fault this time. Here we go.
Sorry, I've stopped my internet. I hope that works.
Yeah, look, can you still see Frozen? Can you still see Frozen Hayley on your screen too?
Yeah, I've got 2 Haleys.
Yeah.
Frozen Hayley.
The other one will go.
2 Haleys is not what you need this morning.
Yeah.
Now, Hayley, give us the update.
So yeah, there's no update. I pretty much went into hospital on New Year's Day. And I was there for a week.
Jesus.
And now I'm home.
Are you okay now?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all right. I just got really sick before New Year's Eve, and then when I went into hospital, I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease. Yeah, it's fine. Once it's all in remission and everything, it'll be pretty normal life. So nothing to complain about, really.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, it was just I went into emergency on New Year's Day thinking it was going to be a couple of hours, and 7 days later, I was still sitting in hospital.
No,
it's been a long start to the
terrible.
year.
I hope you're okay now.
That's right. So Ben, you definitely misbehaved yourself the most, albeit that Hayley did finish up in hospital.
I was going to say, is that from New Year's Eve party?
Right. How much did you drink end up in a hospital?
No, it was before. She realised before New Year's Eve, right? So
yeah. Sorry, New Year's Eve, I still went out. I was like, I'll go out. I didn't drink. I was very responsible. I had the worst FOMO ever. It's really bad. I can't miss out on anything. So yeah, I was literally couldn't eat, couldn't drink, couldn't move really, and I still went out. And then New Year's Day, I was like, okay, I'll go to the hospital.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good effort.
Yeah, something like that. Don't know if my mum agrees. It was a great effort.
No, it was it was a pretty good effort to go out, is what I was meaning.
Yeah,
just to go out.
And I had everyone staying at mine afterwards as well, so I couldn't even leave because I was hosting everyone. So everyone wanted to party, and I was like, oh, let's go. Well.
Andy wasn't that much different because Andy, you'd been crook since before Christmas Eve, but then you still would have enjoyed yourself over New Year's, did you?
Yeah, I've been sick for 2 weeks now. Because every time I'm almost recovering, it would be Christmas party, New Year's party. So,
I think your doctor told you just need to rest more, right?
Yeah, but my doctor said just don't go to any of these parties. But I'm here now. I'm alive. I've made it.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that you're all alive and you all made it. And I think it's a nice 9 screen, isn't it, at the moment? I think we should take an early screenshot so we don't have to worry at the end. Who's taking it? Haley?
Yeah, I'll take it because I look the worst, so therefore I can take it. Sure I look the best.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to give a thumbs up.
All right. Everyone's smiling. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Woohoo! Welcome back, 2021. It is awesome to see you all. It really is. And it is good that Haley is with us, and it's that's particularly good. So we didn't lose anybody over 3 weeks, and it sounds like everybody had a good time, which is awesome. I'll just share my screen. Give me a second, and everybody get the calendar invite and Basecamp message. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Sorry if that becomes a bit of a duplicate. I try and do that. I was speaking to Adrian in our meeting this morning. Clearly, when I've got it on a weekly update, but then when you update and add the all in, then you sort of send it sends an invite a second time. So hopefully that's okay with you guys. It just means that you should get the updated sheet each time. I was mentioning to Adrian, so maybe I'll start on that. So this sheet is, I printed it out. Well, I don't always print it out, but I do print it out and take a few notes just so that when I'm going along with Adrian asks at the end. But one of the things that, because Adrian and I have had our meeting, I am reminded the reason when we're doing our little elevator pitch, for a start, it's a good practice. But one of the things I need to remind myself, and I clearly also reminded Adrian, is our real point of difference is that we're all marketers, right? So that little 20-second sort of, I am Hannah, I'm your Dify social media marketer and graduate from da-da-da, that's really important. I'd always use that as your lead-in, right? Because realistically, it's not easy for people to compete with that, right? There's plenty of people that compete and say they're digital marketers or they do social media, but generally speaking, we know that most of them aren't marketers. Yeah? So that's the one little takeaway. I just thought I'd just remind everybody when we're doing this, clearly we're using a bit of a B&I template, but also the reason that we're in B&I is because we are unique. We've got a bit of an unfair advantage, I think, in that we are graduate marketers and we're just applying our marketing knowledge, our marketing strategy and tactics to the social media channels. So, but this is something that I do update each week, and it is also a bit of a hold-all so that you know that our one-to-one times are on there. Clearly, our state of plays are on there and that sort of stuff too. So use it as a bit of a reference tool as well. Together with the other thing that I did send through was just this updated Excel spreadsheet. I know this is too small to read, but please have a look at this. Because this not only, it's great, I think for me, but I think it's for everybody else as well in terms of it says, what projects Adrian's managing there. It's got your projects in there. And then it's got all our projects, right? And the one thing that I think we've done really well, particularly over this last couple of months, is, we always talk about, it's about creating competitive advantage for us to attract more clients, but also to retain more clients. And I can tell you, compared to previous years, we lost a couple and we look like we're going to lose a couple of clients over this period, but we lost less than we gained, right? And so that's always positive. So the main thing about having that Excel spreadsheet is that we're all in this together. That lists all of our current clients. And so you can see what's going on in that sort of Excel spreadsheet. So you, again, just use that as a bit of a resource. So the trade sheet and the Excel spreadsheet are really good resources, I find particularly anyway, to know, that I've got to remember to talk to Emily about this or Anthony about that or Ben, so it's just a really good little tool for me to know what everybody's doing and everybody's touching on. So, all right. Given its first week back, Adrian's going to take this little first part. So, Adrian, I'll let you do our welcome to nation, etc.
Okay. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Kulin Nation. We offer our respects to the owners of these traditional lands, and through them all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, past and present. Okay, so yeah, moving on. Okay, so just our Diffy social mission and purpose here. So our mission is to protect and build relationships to help businesses grow with their social media. And our purpose is really to gain a competitive advantage and to attract and retain more customers. And at Diffy Social, our main focus is really to have fun and do good.
What's your favourite, Adrian?
My favourite? I think my favourite is passion. It's always good to have a bit of passion when you're doing work, so it sort of leads back to the have fun and do good. If you're not passionate about it, then you can't really do good and enjoy it.
True. Awesome.
Okay, just a little bit about our long and short tail. As we spoke about, is to really attract and retain those customers. But our objectives here are really to protect, differentiate, be top of mind, and sort of increase the business opportunities for our clients. These are just, you can find all our sort of services and pricing and everything like that on our website.
Just so you guys know, I'll talk about it in a minute, but we have updated the covers on, so that you'll see that posted on your Facebook page. So hopefully that's an easy thing that will make it easy enough to just update that on a quarterly basis normally, just so you know.
And everything that we do at Diffy Social can be linked back to our infographic, our strategic model. So Steve, you want to have a quick overview of the strategic model for us?
I think probably as much as anything, that's what I wanted to remind. Realistically, this is our go-to, right? So, I've found myself over the last 2 months, particularly with the new clients, is just and new interest, is just always pointing back to this, is that we're realistically always reverse briefing for people that come. They know they've got an interest, for whatever that interest might be, because others are doing it or they don't want to do it themselves. But the reality is, it's up to us to really educate them what we do, right? So the key always is, what do we do? And sometimes what we don't do. So it's just really using these 3 lines, right? So we tell them where it sits in a marketing house or a small business house. Often people get confused around personal brand and business brand. So we do talk about making them all star, but also the fact that it's really these 6 social media sites for their business that we're going to look at. The model, which all of you always talk really well about, is the fact that we use a repurposing model. There's 2 reasons for that. Is the fact that we know that we're always going to talk in their voice, because it's the same voice that's on the website, right? So we're not making anything up, but we also know that it gives them benefit from a search perspective as well, because basically we're taking information and wording from their website and pushing it through to their social media site. So it's going to help them from a search perspective. This is a strategy. We know that less than 13% of small businesses have a strategy. This model is a strategy. So just by sharing this model in a one-to-one, or at any time when you're speaking to someone, now they have a strategy, if they want to, that they could use, right? So this is a strategy in itself. And then, like anything, we measure, right? Ultimately, we understand that if people don't feel like they're getting return on investment, then they're not going to continue to do it. But we also need to, at times, we may prove that, well, look, we're going to give you every best shot that we possibly can from a social media marketing and Facebook advertising point of view. Now, that still might not achieve the results that you're after, but it's unlikely to be the social media marketing and Facebook advertising that probably is the weakness, right? So yeah, just always fall back on this. You guys are all really comfortable around it, I think, now, but it's just it's your key educative tool, right, whenever you're talking to people. Cool. Then this celebrate our wins. We're going to talk about a little bit. Maybe you could just say celebrate. Something you've had that you really enjoyed. Maybe it's just taking time out over the last few months. Few weeks, not months. But the main thing was, I guess, is the opportunities that we've been doing. I just updated our blog this morning, so this is the easiest way for me to remember what we've had. So, your property investing came out of the blue, right? So that was just a setup planning session we did, Andy and myself, on Friday last week, I think, Andy. which looks like a really good business. So we're pretty excited about that. Then I need to go to My Essence. We did, Hannah and I, if I click on that, which was really good. Hannah, we enjoyed that. Yep, Hannah's going to say yes. Yeah.
It went really well. Yeah.
And so that's the other thing that I'm really pleased when we're doing these now. You guys are getting to sort of see sessions where there's not a lot of beef, right? Which is kind of good. We're getting people that are coming in. It's sort of suggesting to me we're getting a better, better prospects and clients coming on board. Limb Live Media was just before Christmas. In fact, it was the last one with Emily, which is pretty exciting. It's a little bit different. Again, it's a really great opportunity because it's a great business, but relatively high need. So, we'll just continue to educate them, but it's a really good opportunity for us with Emily's involved there. Jake with Alpha Click IT Solutions, this was a great one. I was really pleased that Jake was able to jump in on this one. And you've been going fine with your updates on that, Jake. I've been seeing them. They're great. Then this was Haley and Athen, and I know he's really rapt about having Haley doing the social media marketing, and I think it's fair to say he's going to be a really massive advocate for Haley and for Dify Social in her chapter. He loved the session, and I'm pretty sure he's kind of loving what's happening since the session as well. And then Wayne and Ben over in WA as well. So and Ben's done some. We've got those ads now running since the 4th, I think. Ben, with your he had a video done through Ben's mate. Correct, Ben? Yeah.
Yep.
And then we've got that running now as well. So, and I think BuzzMe as well. BuzzMe was a little bit trickier. It's a coin client that was just basically full on ever since we did. Even on the day that we did his setup and planning session, he had a booking for removal, right? So me and Anthony just need to get on and work out when we're going to do some take on the management with this one because, hopefully he settles down a little bit over this January period and we can get that set up and be doing the ongoing posting. This one I was mentioning to Adrian, this one again, I told you about pre-Christmas, came out of the blue, was a Saturday setup, got their first management invoice and then was like, I don't think we're going to continue. I don't see the benefit. I'm like, what the heck? So I'd been emailing and texting him to we still need to create the LinkedIn company, but there's an element of like you can sort of bend over backwards, but you're not necessarily going to get everybody to understand all the time, right? So I don't know. I don't know if that's a particularly good story in, good story out, but it's one of those sort of things. It's a very new business, very green business, and so we'll see how we go with that one there. But anyway, there's a lot of new acquisitions, so that's a really busy and fantastic December, January period, agreed. And there's a lot of interest that we're not talking about there, right? So there's quite a bit of interest that's come in just before December. We had Awards Australia sort of reschedule, so there's others that we need to follow up on. But, that was a really exciting period leading up to Christmas, and that's great. And I think a lot of that is on the back of the fact that, people are now in their business networks and went to Christmas parties. You can go off mic. I don't know. Is anybody going to pitch their business network as having the best business Christmas party event? Were they pretty?
I think Haley's was pretty good from what I heard.
Well, yours was a cocktail party.
Crazy in my group. Everyone's crazy. It went crazy, ridiculous.
Ben, did your one's pretty good?
They're good.
It was alright. I went mini golf.
Mini golf.
Yeah, I went mini golf. It wasn't anything. It wasn't anything to. I mean, I had to drive, so I couldn't get too hectic. It was alright for the most part.
As far as I'm concerned, that's a positive when you have to drive to those events. Emily and Hannah, did you Did you finish up having offline ones in the end?
We did, but it was Thanksgiving, so I was not available.
Yeah, my group is a bit slack. They didn't really get around to organising much, like not like a proper thing, which was a bit disappointing. But I think they want to get back into, like they'll do a get back together now that we'll be back in person, hopefully this week.
Yeah. So the one thing I guess now we're all going to have our full year pretty much or thereabouts now in our chapters, and we've got Anthony will put an application into Fresh Networking this month. Similarly, Jake as well with BNI in Adelaide. One of the things I just really wanted to point out is just really use it as best you can. I'm ashamed to say that I've dropped to 90. Haley, you made me think that there was no way I could possibly drop down the ranking. It turns out I can by not putting in my slips for CEU points, education. Basically, so I'm down to 90. I dropped, which is no good. But also I realized that if you click on your traffic light sheet, you know that thing you showed me, if you click on your name, in fact, if you click on any member's name on your traffic light, it actually shows you where you can do better. So apparently I need to do 13 CEU points this month, and then I'll get back up again. So there you go. And I'm sure I don't need to let you know I'm taking that on with some vigor. And the other thing I wanted to sort of say is particularly where, well, look, to be honest, I think it's for all of us, but particularly in the all-star states, you've got really good opportunities with cross-chapter, right? So Jake, once you're in, and Ben, once you're in, and Ben, you're in the top-performing chapter out of all of us in Dify, right? So there's a really good opportunity for cross-chapter, network of referrals, and I think I've let you guys know in the past that's really where most of my more recent referrals have typically come from, other chapters, because they don't have somebody like us in their chapters. So particularly in Queensland and South Australia and Perth now, you've got that same opportunity, right? So yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that, and we just keep doing the basics well, right? So, which we do. So I mentioned the CEU. So what I thought I'd do while we don't have any guest visitors is we just look at this goal setting, and this is just something that you can easily. I just did a search in the CEU just to talk about BNI. So I just thought it might be worth putting this down. You guys know our numbers; we've put them in, right? So you've heard me say more often than not. My goal in the first 12 months or so, of being part of a business network, is to move you to that 20, 25 customers, right? So they're sort of Steve shared KPIs, what I think, is possible, right? But at the end of the day, it's about what you guys want to achieve, and we'll talk about that individually. But ultimately, it's important that we do have a sort of shared vision for Diffy Social, and as I said, and there's a shared opportunity, I think, in our territories, right? So wherever we're looking at, we all have this opportunity to grow ourselves and grow the business in our different territories. So without sort of feeling like a university lecturer, I just thought it's worth sort of putting out these key points, right? So ultimately, we want to have a vision. We know what we want to get to. Clearly, if all 9 of us are doing, 2 new business per month, and we're moving to 20, well, there's 9 times 20, right? So that's I think we've got a bet on this, but anyway, roughly 180 per year, right? If it was 20, right? If it's 24, it's more, but it's 180. At the moment, I think we're about 50 or 60, right? So we've got real good scope to grow in 2021. Would that be fair to say? Yeah. So, ultimately for me, it's not just, but that's not the motivation, right? So the motivation is not my motivation. I kind of want you to be motivated because there's benefit, and you want to feel incentivized. And clearly, as we go week in, month in, I want to make sure that you feel like you're incentivized to grow, and we'll continue to talk about this side of things, right? And so we can clearly measure. We've already talked about, what does 2 new businesses each month look like? We can clearly look at, and we do report because of BNI, what our thank you for closed business and all that sort of stuff. and we've got a time frame, right? So we kind of know, okay, we've got a 12-month time frame, but we sort of have a month-to-month type time frame as well around our numbers. Does that make sense? Any question around that? Yep. And everybody loves this slide, right? Who knows that you need to have SMART goals, right? So again, we all would have heard it. Just to remind what SMART goals stand for, right? So they're specific. So in our case, but the goals for us start before new business, though, right? The goals for us is, well, I know if I do, if I tend my BNI, I do a couple of one-to-ones per week. I'm likely to then attract a couple of audit and consults and so on, right? So remembering for us, the main specific thing we want to gain from our one-to-ones is referrals to people that are interested in an audit and consult. Yeah, that's really the first goal. Or if you like, it's the first action that we want to have a prospect take, is to get an audit and consult from us. So, so we've got specific numbers and specific things that we can look at around that. And ultimately, BNI loves measuring, right? So the good thing for me is I'm not going to be whipping you around the numbers, but we kind of know what those numbers are. Yeah. Yeah, and we got time frame, that sort of stuff. One of the things, and the third thing that I thought was interesting, this is the last slide on this goal setting side of things. Now, clearly, I'm your Diffy buddy, right? Realistically, we're meeting once a week, and we're talking about Diffy goals, right? Realistically, and again, they're just not Steve's Diffy goals, right? They're Steve and Adrian, Steve, Hannah, Jake, Ben, Anthony, Emily, Haley, Andy, right? So basically, every week we've got an opportunity to sort of give feedback or talk about that should we wish. But yeah, basically it's good to have somebody to keep accountable both ways, right? So, I think I've said to you guys, whether even in mentor-mentee type relationships, the benefit is often to the mentor, right, as well as the mentee, right? So really buddy up. But the other thing I thought, if you haven't got it within your chapters already, that it might be good to identify somebody within, and when I say chapters, your business network. So Anthony, if you finish up in Fresh Networking, which you likely will, in WBN for you, Andy, it's maybe likely just to sort of say to somebody, hey, what about we buddy up this year? I'm happy to sort of share what I'm hoping to achieve in terms of, my journey with my business network and BNI. I'd love to hear what you're hoping to do. Right. So maybe in January, look at creating, at least one buddy type relationship within that you think there'd be a mutual benefit in having that buddy. So likely it's somebody that's got similar type clients. They're likely to be referral partners. Does that sound like a fair idea?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so does anybody have a buddy system already? Adrian, did BNI Yarra continue with that?
No, we were talking about reintroducing it, but we haven't.
Okay, yeah. So certainly something that, particularly when I was, doing the early yards, it's particularly advantageous to sort of have somebody that, that's kind of got your back, but you sort of feel like you've got their back a little bit as well, yeah? All right, okay. Any questions around that in terms of goals? Any feedback? Can I get a yeah, boy, Anthony?
Yeah, boy.
All right, cool. And so the other thing that we did a little bit of in 2021, mainly they were BNI type people, but what I do want to do, particularly heading into February, is get along, some special guests so that at least once a month that we've got people that hopefully can tell us about what they do and how they're. Most of these sort of people have been pretty successful. They've either got successful things they can share with us or, just good people to know. So hopefully we'll continue to do that where there's advantages to the people that come and join us as well as to us having them along and joining us. And I'm more than happy to, if you've got somebody, hey, that you met and you think, Ben, for instance, or whoever, right? If you think somebody that you'd like to invite along at any stage, and we might do days, as I said, we might just invite the president along day. I don't know, but if you've got ideas or people that you'd like to have come along, please let me know in our one-to-one, and then we'll get them along as well. Cool. Huong is still with us. Now, did I already let you know that today what we'll just talk about is our looking forward to 2021, what our New Year's resolution may be? Adrian asked me, is that personal? Well, normally a New Year's resolution is kind of personal that affects work, play, life sort of stuff. So, yeah, it doesn't have to be that's not a Diffy New Year's resolution. It's probably a personal resolution that you're probably wanting to do in 2021. That all good? And I guess I imagine most of you are going to your business network this week, so we may as well get back on the horse. You could talk about industry, or rather than necessarily specific. But yeah, if you want to just give a thought to the sort of industry that you're looking to connect with in January with your BNI meetings and business network meetings, that would be good. Okay, so I will go first. And I am Steve Hubbard, and I am your marketing graduate from Monash University and based here in Footscray, Melbourne. I am really super looking forward to 2021, and my New Year's resolution is to go to bed earlier. I was really good in 2020 getting up early, but I don't reckon I'm going to be that good if I keep going to bed as late as I have been. And by going to bed early, I reckon I might be able to read a little bit more actual books, right? So I'm going to go to bed earlier and read more. I've shared some of the wins over the break, but I think the thing that was just having that time to just relax a little bit, and just recharge the batteries coming into this year. So that's kind of been my win over the 3-week break. And this week, I'm really keen. I've realised how I can take money out of Coin now, so I'm really keen to actually look at the Coin network and start pushing. And in particular, the auto trade. The auto trade within the Coin network, I reckon I'm going to push a little bit hard in the new year. So, Steve from Dify Social. Now over to you, Adrian.
Thanks, Steve. I am a marketing graduate from VU, and I am your Diffy social media marketer here in Footscray, where I have lived, worked, and played for a month now. I'm looking forward in this new year. My New Year's resolution would be to take advantage of more opportunities. My win for the week or I guess for the year, would be sort of taking the break off. It's been good to refresh. So just like Steve, it's been good to take a little bit of break. Now it's all ready for the new year, getting back into it. And this week I'm looking to connect with copywriters. Yeah, that's it. And next up is Andy.
Good morning, all. I'm your marketing graduate from RMIT University. I'm your Diffy social media marketer here in Sunshine North, where I've lived, worked, and played my whole life. Looking into 2021, my New Year's resolution would be do more self-improvement in terms of health. So just taking care of, my body and making sure I don't injure myself that much this year. My wins for the week are setting up the ads for 1s and 2s. They look like they're doing good. This week I would like to work with and for accountants. Up next is Anthony.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm your marketing graduate from La Trobe University, and I'm your Diffy social media marketer here in Epping, where I've lived, worked, and played for the last 5 years, and I'm originally from country Victoria. Looking forward to 2021, and my New Year's resolution is a classic, just, keep going to the gym and just staying consistent with that. Not slack off, which it's all right, and just stay on top of my eating, because that's actually really hard to do. My wins for the also over Christmas got a new laptop, so I'm ready to go. And yeah.
Is it a present?
No, it was just a little gift for myself. So it's I never realized how slow my other laptop actually was. I just thought it was normal. This week I'd like to connect with builders. And up next is Haley.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Haley, and I am your marketing graduate from Monash Uni. I'm your Dify social marketer here in Malvern, Victoria. This year, I guess my New Year's resolutions got to do with health as well, so following along with all the boys, but yeah, just maybe do some more steps. I don't know, do something. Maybe I'll start running. I don't know. My wins for this week are just being at home. Very happy to have slept in my own bed over the weekend, so that's probably my biggest win for the week. I'd really like to work with them for businesses in professional services. So this week, looking to connect with maybe another lawyer. I know, I can't believe I'm saying that at the start of 2021, but maybe a lawyer. Up next is Emily.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Emily. I am your marketing graduate from Rutgers University, currently studying at Griffith. I currently live in Mount Gravatt, Brisbane. I've been here for almost a full year. I'm originally from New Jersey. So I'm also looking forward to 2021. My New Year's resolution is similar to everyone, but a little different. I'm trying to focus on taking care of muscle recovery. I hate stretching. I don't know, anything. I don't like to take care of my body, and now everything hurts all the time. So hopefully this year that stops. My wins over break were that even though I couldn't go home and see my parents, my family here helped me really celebrate the holidays, and I'm very grateful for all of them. And I really wouldn't have had it any other way. So I'm really looking for businesses in photography. We still don't have any photographers in our BNI, and I feel like that would be a really great business partner for me. So up next is Hannah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hannah, and I'm your marketing graduate from QUT here, and I'm your Dify social media marketer here in Brisbane, where I've lived, worked, and played for 8 years. Looking forward to 2021. One of my New Year's resolutions is having more wholesome weekends at home, not drinking. And my win for the week would definitely be setting up Wendy with my Essence, with Dify Social, and over the break, getting to spend more time at the beach. And lastly, this week, I'm looking to connect with businesses in the fashion industry. I really want to get some Dify Social fashion clients. And up next is Jake.
Good morning, everyone. I'm a marketing graduate from the University of South Australia, and I'm your Dify social media marketer here at Adelaide, where I've lived for the last 9 years. Again, similar to everyone else, my New Year's resolution for 2021 is definitely to look after my health. Obviously, having a few injuries and illnesses last year, really make sure I look after my body, and maybe similar to Hannah, focus on having a few more weekends without alcohol. And then my wins for the week. So I got a call from the president of the BNI chapter last week, and she's pretty keen to have me at their next meeting, which is exciting. And then also Alpha Click, who we set up just before Christmas. All their ads and results are really, really good. So that's great to see. And then this week, business I would like to work with in the financial services, so specifically accountants. And up next is Ben.
Sorry, Ben.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ben. I'm your marketing, advertising, and PR graduate from ECU. I am your Dify social media marketer here in Wanneroo, Perth, where I've lived for the past 14 years. My New Year's resolution, I have got something specific, and it's along the same lines of health, which is to do. My aim this year is to do a 5K run. So I'm going to be looking forward to trying to do that. Wins over the holiday break. Setting up Wayne's advertising, that was good, and he's got some fantastic stats. He's also got his carpet cleaning association to like and comment on quite a few of his posts now, which is really good for him. I ended up, unfortunately, but fortunately, networking at my New Year's Eve party and have got a referral for my website person, and I've got 2 visitors coming to my BNI chapter this week because of it, which is also pretty neat. And I guess my wins, who I'm looking for this week is essentially, we're going to go for some basic and generic small businesses who want to start off their 2021 on the right foot and get their social media set up.
Good one. Can't help it. Just 2 little add-ons. Following from Anthony, I actually bought myself a Christmas present as well. It didn't arrive until the week between Christmas and New Year's, but I actually got a Double J hoodie and a Double J shirt. It's bright orange. It's pretty cool. It's almost similar to actually Adrian's shirt. That's that one. And then the other thing is, funny that Emily said about muscle. I actually strained my groin last Thursday night. That's the first time in 5 years I've had any type of injury, and I couldn't play beach volleyball on Sunday, and I don't think I'm going to play this week. And I have never looked after any muscle development in terms of stretching or anything along those lines, but I think I might have to, Emily. So if you've got any tips, you might have to let me know.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you, doesn't it?
Damn it. Didn't even do anything to, magnificent to stretch it.
Nope. Usually that's what happens.
So, Adrian, are you going to ask a few cues?
Yeah. Everyone's New Year's resolution was basically the same thing. So let's just go, Andy. What was Ben's New Year's resolution? His was a little bit more specific. So
It had to do with health. 5 kilometer run.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay, let's go. Emily, what was Anthony's win for the week or for the year?
It was that he bought himself a new laptop.
Yeah, that's right.
Congrats, by the way.
I know. And you didn't even have to come into this call twice, right? You just came in one time.
That's right. Yep.
It's amazing.
Unreal, isn't it?
Bit of pressure on Haley now.
And let's go, Jake. What was who's Haley looking to connect with?
Bizarrely, another lawyer.
Yes.
There we go. And is Emily, are you going to help us stretch now, or does anyone else have any new stretches?
I mean, I can if no one else is. Okay, they're going to just be repeats now because there's only so many stretches you can do in a desk.
I think repeats are perfectly fine, and I also think multiple stretches are perfectly fine. So hit us up.
Okay, I'll do Steve's favorite, which is when you went above your head with your hands facing out, and then you move your arms in circles 5 times one way. And then 5 times the other way.
That's a heaps good stretch. Such a good desk stretch, this one. I reckon we should all just randomly do this on our Zoom meetings in BNI, right? Just between the presenter and the, or what do? We do the pitches and then to the presentations. Generally, that doesn't matter what meeting you're sitting at. I reckon we just should randomly break out into stretches just to point a difference.
Just to make sure everyone's focused.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Thanks heaps, Emily, for that stretch. I still think we should just hold on to you, particularly this year. If you're looking at stretching as being one of your resolutions, you might have to do a bit of research then coming into each week.
Find more upper body stuff.
But they're always the best meetings, like when you go to business meetings and they let you have a stretch. It's great, I reckon. Hey, I think I did mention it already. Updated cover, quarterly cover. So if you can update your Facebook page, your Google My Business, your Twitter covers, that would be awesome. You should just be able to, it is saved in images, but you should just be able to, if you go with your Facebook post, you should just be able to go to that and save as your cover, because there's some copywriting underneath it, right, that just talks about it. You guys know that this is just a montage of sort of us and mostly our clients, right? So there's just a mix, including, I think, even the most recent ones. So we've got everybody, I sort of chop and change a little bit. But yeah, and hopefully it just some of the people will see themselves in there as well, because if we can get our clients talking about us to other people, that's always going to be a real advantage, right? Um, if you didn't see this post, it's worth having a look at this. I saw Jake already this morning actually went and give it a like, and I saw you also actually went and followed some of those pages, right? So it's worth particularly, it's worth following the other chapters that we're part of. This is not, this is good, bad, don't know, right? In terms of where we all sit, what we know is that none of us really sit in the top. Well, certainly not in the top 10, and most of us don't even sit in the top 50, right? I know this is a bit small, but just so you know, but we're kind of all not too far off. Now, as I said, whether that's a good or a bad, we don't know. The advantage for someone like Hannah and Adrian is sort of bringing it up down the bottom a little bit. But the advantage for that is that makes you maybe stronger members within chapters that need your help more, right? So it's likely to be that Hannah and Adrian, for instance, mainly, yeah. And then the rest of us are kind of just middle of the road chapters, right? We're nothing great, we're nothing bad. And as I said, it's not to say the one's down. Someone has to be down below, right? So I just look at it as all as challenging networks. So again, Andy, the advantage for you is that clearly Wyndham Business Network realistically is growth partners. Most of those people that are in Wyndham Business Network are already growth partners. And Andy did give a referral to one of our clients this week, which was really good. And I can always put that in slips. But clearly what I do is I note it as a referral from Andy to one of his friends to one of our clients, right? So we can use it that way. I was tempted to put in something to do with fresh networking, but then I thought it might be a little bit throwing it out there, Anthony. But we do know that in fresh networking, there's a whole bunch of B&I people in there, right? Ultimately, it's good for you to know who we're part of and where we sit sort of within the scheme of things. The other thing that I'm seeing, it's a little bit like Ben just mentioned with the cleaning network or the association liking Wayne's post over there, right? More often than not, B&I Australia are liking our posts now, right? When I include them in the post. So clearly we're getting the attention of who we want to get the attention of. The other thing that I noticed in just one of the posts I did last week was around a B&I post where it was a speaker that was on a podcast, and she was based in Perth, Ben. She's a mindset coach in Perth. So once you listen to someone, she was doing the podcast with Ivan Meisner, right? So, and he's talking to her about, attitude is what that was the post, if you guys got to see it. So it was talking about attitude. There's this whole Business Booster series. It's really, really worth listening to. That was the same one where the guy from Action Coach was speaking on in the series. I just listened to the CEO of B&I this morning speaking, right? And so the Business Booster series are really interesting to listen to, but it's also possible with those people is to then go, okay, I don't remember what her name was. I can look it up. But you can basically go and look them up and connect with them on LinkedIn, right? So particularly the lady in Perth, I'm thinking, okay, well, she's a B&I person in Perth. I should connect with her, right? Where is that post? Hang on, give me 1 second. Just for you, Ben, particularly, I think it would be good for you to connect with her. It'd be worth knowing what chapter she's part of, right? Actually, maybe it was this post here with the base. It was talking about when life throws you a curveball, right? And so the lady's name was Suzanne Laidlaw, Ben, just so you know. Anyway, so these people, they're B&I Australia, right? So it's just worth, I'm going to copy that. And she's from Western Edge. I don't know, have you heard of Western Edge before, Ben? By any chance?
Yes, I have heard of Western Edge.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is off the top of my head, but I know of the Western. I have heard of it, yes.
Yeah. So, I make a bit of a habit. So I've said to you guys before on LinkedIn, I don't typically connect with people beyond the shores of Australia, New Zealand, unless there's a logical reason to do so, right? So I am connected to, and it's easy to connect with. And if you hear someone that does do a really good talk, so the guy who was the CEO of BNI in Poland, right? It was a really good talk he gave. What's his name? Brad Sugars, the action coach. It's very easy to look up these people and then send them a LinkedIn request. And I generally will say, hey, loved listening to your podcast. It would be good to connect and stay in touch. I'm also part of BNI, something along those lines, right? And we know that 9 times out of 10, if they're using LinkedIn, then they're going to connect with us, right? And then it starts building this connection. Emily and I have talked about it, in the States. It'd be worth having a bit of a sister sort of BNI chapter that Emily, is familiar with, and a few people she might connect with over there. Similarly, we've done it, Haley, Ben and I, with London, right? And we know we've got the relationship with Sydney as well. So start to not just be connected to the chapter, but some of the key players that might be real leaders within BNI, particularly in Australia, but elsewhere as well. Yeah. Anyway, that's gone off on a tangent I didn't expect to go on, but that's all good, hopefully. We're going to have our one-to-ones. The one thing I was going to ask, and I'll flag separately, but Andy's now, we're doing our one-to-one 12:30 today. Andy, we're all good, right? So we just changed that. It doesn't have to happen immediately depending on your timing, Hannah and Emily, but it would be
I was going to say, yeah, I can change now to Wednesday.
You can. So if we could do, and again, Emily, what's your status on Wednesday? Is that still tough for you?
You're on mute.
Sorry. It's the same schedule I have on Fridays, so it'd have to be the same time. But it doesn't look like I'll have classes on Wednesday, so that's good.
As in, okay. So maybe Hannah, if you can take the 11:30 slot, which would be 10:30 for you on Wednesdays. Yeah. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, I think I used to have that time. So yeah, that's
you were roughly near that time. That's right. Yeah. 11:30, and then. And what I might look at doing for you is maybe 5:30, which would be 4:30 your time.
No, so I have training.
Training on okay.
Wednesday nights. Yeah, so I'm free from 2 to 3:30.
You know what? Oh yeah. Well, what about if we do 12:30? So 12:30 my time, 11:30 your time.
So I'm free from 2 to 3:30 ish on Wednesdays and Fridays. So.
Okay, maybe I'll look at it. But I think what you'd be able to do probably is the set. So Jake is at 3:30 Melbourne time, and Ben is at 4:30 Melbourne time. So it sounds like I'd maybe be able to put you before Jake at some point. Okay. So anyway, we'll work that out. We'll look at it.
If it has to be, I could maybe make it work like 1:30. I would just have to know, because then I'll have to let my other job know.
Yeah, I don't want it to have to mix and match. What we might be able to do is make it so that it's slightly more, maybe what we do for, if it suits Ben and Jake, what we might be able to do is instead of making it 4:30, Ben, we might do 5, and Jake might do 4, and then Emily could do 3.
Okay.
How does that sound? Is that all right by you, Jake? That's okay by you, Ben? Awesome. Okay, well, that sounds like a good plan.
Okay, all right. Cool. Thanks, guys. Sorry. Wednesdays and Fridays are just tight.
Yeah, no, but I think that what I want to do is, because I'm aware, you guys know that one of the reasons of using Friday afternoon is because I've said this to you before, I don't think it's a great day to be doing business, but I think it's then on the same token, it's probably not the best day to be doing our one-to-one catch-ups either, right? So I kind of want everybody to feel like by Wednesday, we've all caught up, we're all just getting on with our working week, and we've still got those good days, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and particularly even Fridays. Friday's a good day to be doing setups for us, but it's just not a great day to be, I don't think,
planning and going over things.
I just felt like I'd like to bring everybody in. So it means that pretty much we're done with all our basically our one-to-ones, our buddy one-to-ones, if you like, are Mondays and Wednesdays now. So that brings everybody in line. So that'd be awesome. Excellent. Okay. Awesome. So that's all I want. There is, if you can have a look at it, if you don't mind, for those guys that have small business, not for the new ones that have only just come on, but we would probably do a report for your S-size small businesses. Adrian did it already, but if you can do your S businesses this week, that would be great. I figured not most people aren't back. Adrian has done it, and I already did Diffy Socials. Diffy Socials, please have a look at that because our report is fantastic, right? There's two ways. As I said, I'm really pleased that December, January. Firstly, we did well in terms of acquiring and not losing. But the momentum we've had through our social media and our report is really outstanding. It's never been better. The monthly insights on our reporting, and that's just the brand, right? So if we were to add our individual ones on top of that, it's even more outstanding. But the insights, I can only say, think of us as a client and have a look at those insights. They are really great. So I think that's really big on all of us. And in many ways, it's the stuff that we're sharing. So clearly a lot of that comes back to the fact that we shared a little video Christmas one, which was great. I had to look this up today with Adrian. Around about 4,000 and something or other received our Christmas email, right? So thanks everybody for adding in and just adding that. If we add the e-news tag to people in our network, then if we do it in future, it might be Easter. I'm not at this stage thinking I'm going to do a monthly newsletter. I think it works best to do it almost quarterly or seasonally. But it was really good that's the most by far in terms of getting an e-news out. And whilst it doesn't give me open rates and things like it used to, I'm pretty confident that at least a third would have opened that e-news video of us going out. So that's a really good result for us. And a third of people out of 4,000 open is actually more than my previous push out in Christmas last year. So last year, I think I pushed out to less than 1,500 business network. So this year we're pushing out to more than 4,000, and pretty much that's an Australia-wide network now. So that's great. Clearly, it's gone across all our social channels, and a lot of it comes from the fact that it's your faces as well. So at the moment, we've got Emily with the TikTok talking on the back of that. We had Haley presentation, Ben doing presentation, Hannah doing presentation. And so it's a lot of new voices as well, right? So it's not just always Steve's face and Steve sort of out there talking. So that's what we want to continue to do. There's lots of faces involved in Diffy Social now, and so we want to share that and get that out there. And clearly as well, there's the one, there's the knock knock one that's going out there, which is all of our faces, right? So, to speak to your local social media marketer. So yeah, it's really good. I'm really excited about what's happening there, and really just with our one-to-one catch-ups. Clearly, that's the opportunity. If there's anything systems-wise, the good thing actually, a couple of things towards the end of last year where we just picked up on things that I hadn't maybe shared, and so I guess the good thing is that hopefully it picks up things when we do the one-to-one, how I can help and any feedback that you have in those sessions. Got our normal time for our state of plays. I think that's all good. We really only have Jake sounds positive, so that's great. With B&I in Adelaide, and as I said, we've got our point of difference man is Anthony in Victoria, which is going to be exciting. So I'm really pumped for how that's going to play out. Have you got? Do you know if they're open? Do they have an open meeting this week, Anthony?
I can double check, but as far as I'm concerned, this week is closed. Or I think it might even start next week.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Yeah. Cool, that's all right. So again, maybe just make the inquiry and see how we go. Geez, poor old London. How is England going? Do you remember seeing the stat where Haley might have seen this, where England and Victoria basically at one point were both on 720 active cases? Victoria went into hard lockdown. England didn't, and it's just a nightmare. So all of the Dan Andrews lovers love to point to that stat, right? Is the fact that, yeah, if we hadn't done what we did, then we could have finished up being an England scenario, because that's just terrible now with that different strain as well, right? Just terrible. my older kids' grandparents live over there, so it's it's 1 in 50 people now. All of a sudden, that starts to become. You start to think, oh shit, well, I'm likely to know somebody in that sort of scenario, right? You look at Brisbane and Adelaide going into lockdown because of there's 4 active cases or whatever,
We just got like 1.
Yeah, exactly. So you look at actually everybody can come off mic.
Yeah, we have 1.
Might as well, unless you're coughing and sneezing, we might as well come off mic. But I think the way that Australia is, and the advantage for us is now, if nothing else, people will look at our business, and you can, even because we can do everything with remotely now. So really, it doesn't change for you, Hannah and Emily, for instance. If you're in lockdown or you're just showing a caution approach, that's just a smart approach, right? Is that, oh yeah, we're doing our audits and consults. With Andy and I on Friday last week, the guy was just in Williamstown. Now that's really close to me in Footscray, right? And he did ask, oh, should we do it together? And he said, well, what do you think's best? And I said, well, I think the best use of our time is that I don't have to drive to you in Williamstown and we just do it online, right? And it worked beautifully, right, Andy?
Yeah.
Having said that, I'd quite like to go and have a beer with him, just from a relationship building and because it went well. But, it does take out, the reality is we've got this opportunity now that nothing really changes for us, whether it's in lockdown or not in lockdown, if people are interested in having one-to-ones or audits and consults, that sort of stuff. And really, it is incumbent upon ourselves and on me, I guess, to look after ourselves, right? That should be our primary concern, right? So, and without sounding like the government, if you do have any symptoms or if you need to go and get tested, do what you need to. But I guess the advantage for us is we know we can pretty much do what we need to do online, right? So it's pretty exciting for me knowing that we can do that in different states. And in factual factor, now we've got different networks too with Anthony and Fresh, so that almost again mitigates our risk, right? So there's an element of gives us flexibility, right? So it's no longer BNI Melbourne. We've got multiple BNIs in multiple states. We've now got multiple networks because we've got Wisdom of BizNet. We've got Fresh. And so, there's just ways that we're sort of expanding upon what we kind of had already built. Anyway, but being mindful, I think in Brisbane particularly, you guys have had it, right? And I know with Ben in WA, it's always been the case, is you're going to get those people that just want to shake your hand, right? They just want to make sure you're a real decent person. And ultimately, it's because they're going to trust Jake, Ben, Hannah, and Emily with stuff that they don't really understand and trust. Yeah? So that's often why they want to meet you, is not so much that they necessarily are concerned about doing things remotely. It's just the fact that they want to trust the fact that you're a real person. Yeah. And so that's why it does at times, go and have a coffee with people. It's nice. As I said, I'm quite looking forward to going and having a beer with Tony or a coffee. He's quite active as well. I think he's getting on the bike more this year. I don't know if there's anything else that I need to touch on here. As I did say with Coin, I'm pretty sure I said it before the break, but I've tested that now. You can, for those that have Coin, you can actually take that out in cash now in either $100 or $500 or $1,000 blocks. Clearly I'm not a tax accountant. We've asked our bookkeeper, but you're being paid in it. And so we know that from an accounting perspective, it's considered just like your normal cash payment, right? What we don't know is when you take blocks out, it's a little bit like an investment thing as well. So anyway, again, it's just something you just be aware of what you're doing there. But now the good thing is that you can cash out Coin amounts as well. And I think other than that, the only other thing probably at the bottom there is what I'd like to do, and I'll just flag now, but we will become maybe a bit more blended, at least with in Melbourne, where we do catch up maybe once a month. At the end of the month, maybe we get back together and we have a breakfast, and we'll talk about it in the state of plays maybe too. I think the BNIs are going to finish up probably being blended, so we may as well start and do a bit like that as well. We just need to work out how we are good at it, right? Because I'm mindful of the fact that if I'm eating a third wave brekkie burger, then I'm not necessarily focused in on the meeting in the same way. So maybe what we need to do is order and eat our breakfast and then sort of do the meeting or something along those lines, just so that we have a good meeting. And Ben and Jake and Queensland don't feel like they're getting less of an experience. By the way, just so you know, I did put, for those people that aren't in Melbourne, you did get an extra hour on your meeting to hope cover your breakfast cost on that day. Just so you know, that's how we address that. And I'm happy to do that probably on those months if we do have blended meeting. In Melbourne, that we would prefer you to have you along, and I think Andy, you would have preferred to have come along, right? Cool. All right, so I'm just looking forward to catching up with you this week. There is a couple of things I think there may be one or two. I think Hannah and a few others that we might want to have a chat, whether we do that today or early. But yeah, let's go around the room. As I said, I'm just mindful that we've got one-to-one starting this week. I'll see you all in those. And if you've got anything pressing, that I'm happy to sort of be available today, that we could talk through a couple of things with new projects if there's things we need to talk through as well. So, Adrian, what is your week looking like?
I've got to send a couple emails off after this. I spoke to you about this morning, Steve.
Yep.
I've got my scheduling to finish off today, and my BNI is starting again this week, so I've got that on Wednesday. I'm going to reach out to Salo to do a one-to-one as well. But I think that's basically it for this week.
Cool.
Yeah. And Jake, what's your week looking like?
So I've got to finish my scheduling straight after this meeting, and then I have to book my ticket for the BNI. So they have their first BNI this week, but I can't go to that one. So the first one I can go to is on the 20th. Then just engagement on Wednesday, I think, and just following up a few kind of emails and inquiries.
Okay, Hannah?
Scheduling today. And Steve, are we going to run an ad today, or do you want to meet tomorrow? When would you?
Yeah, well,
I can stay on. Or...
Yeah, do you want to stay on, and maybe we just do 15 minutes today in between? So I'm meeting with Andy at 12:30. But we could touch base if that's okay with you. If you want to stick around, let's just stick around and do that.
Cool. And I've got my BNI, which hopefully will be in person. Now that there's a lockdown, I don't know if things might change that, but yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, Ben?
I have done my scheduling for this week last night, so I've just got engagement still on Wednesday. I've set up my banking so I don't get harassed by our accountant at my BNI chapter, so we are back to paying weekly fees. So I've got my BNI chapter this week. I've sent off an email. Unfortunately, the bookkeeper didn't qualify for the smart scheme loan thing in Melbourne, which sucked. So I just had to send off an email to her then.
She didn't. That's actually, that does remind me. Just so you guys know, we did. So we got our $1,200. We've been invited to use that as a rebate. So I spoke with Adrian this morning. I'm not sure how we use it, because at the moment they haven't announced the suppliers, and so we haven't been told one way or another. But I did ring them, and what they've said now, it's not going to be the suppliers. They're all corporate type suppliers, right? So there is Xero and Squarespace, and they're not really Johnny, small businesses. But apparently more are going to be announced in January. So we may still be on the suppliers. You never know. I'd love it if we are. But the other thing is, the type of suppliers I'd like to see on there is somebody that can help us with our email marketing, maybe, so that I could put some rebate money against that, and somebody that can look at. We have clients, right, that could help us with our cybersecurity potentially, if we wanted to look at that side of things. So anyway, that just reminded me, Ben. Sorry.
Yeah, all good, no worries. So unfortunately, bookkeeper didn't qualify for that, and BNI. I've just sent off my emails then to ensure that my referral goes through, and that I get my 2 invitees for this week. That would be good.
Well done.
Okay, Anthony?
Just scheduling, and Steve's. I'm still holding off on BuzzMe.
Yeah, what I reckon. So it's scheduling unnecessary. We at this stage we're on hold with Hunter Pro, right?
Okay, so I'm not scheduling him either.
Don't schedule Hunter Pro at the moment. Yeah, so he's so we put him on hold, and so he's that classic where I think he must have received some grant money, or maybe he used his grant money just to suss it and see. You did a brilliant job with all the posts over the last 3 months. So he paid us fully in advance, right?
Yeah.
But he was really a cynic in terms of what we were doing. But we got a really good opportunity to just show him how it's done properly. And as I said, really good posts. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. The guy that referred him just given me, I've got a missed call from him today. So it'll be interesting to see what he's asking about. But yeah, so let's hold off on him. But what I was going to say is maybe you want to just follow up on Busby and just send him an email, even if you do it via Basecamp, or just say, look, can I give you a call just to see how you're tracking this week, to see if you wanted to get these couple of issues resolved and when we might start. So maybe you can follow him up.
Yep. All right.
Good idea.
Yep. So I'll follow up JC.
Yeah.
And just Wednesday, the local Wednesday catch up and engagement for Whittlesea and sport, Diffy sport.
Yep. No worries.
Andy?
Just a bunch of scheduling today. I've done the report for 1s and 2s already. I think I'm excellent at it.
Thanks, Andy.
And engagement on Wednesday.
Awesome.
No WBN meeting this week.
Okay, you're still off? Yep.
Emily?
Yeah, I have all my scheduling today. Normally I schedule on Sunday nights, but I forgot yesterday, so I'll do that today. Tomorrow I do have my BNI. Will be online just as a precaution, but hopefully next week we'll be back in person. I have my report for out there branding, and now we have our one-to-ones on Wednesday. So Steve, should I put together something to maybe make an ad out of for Lim Live for Wednesday?
So we didn't promote him yet, did we? So yeah, the other thing is, let's so that's probably if we didn't know, I thought we already did that, didn't we?
We might have done one. Then I think
we've already done that. I'll just double check what the one we have, because I think it's probably pinned to the top of the page. Yeah.
Okay. Because we can talk about this more at our one-to-one.
Rather than doing that, I'd just probably copy and give yourself credit the template for the report for Lim Live, and do the Lim Live report, and that way we've got a template for it. That would be good.
It's not a real report, though, right?
You do it, do it as a real report, because we started before Christmas, but just so we've got it in there, so we know what the starting stats were.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And just put it into the private thread. That's all. So any reports, everybody knows. Just grab the last report from the main thread, put it into the personal thread. Now with Lim Live, you'll have to grab Roy's.
I'll grab Roy's, yeah.
And then update that one. Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we can talk more about it at the one-to-one, but their website is not. There's no copy, so we'll talk about it.
It's still not active. Okay. Yeah. It's cool. Yep. Sweet.
Haley?
I've done my scheduling. I'll send through the report for Hannah Intimates. My VNI doesn't go back this week, so that won't be till next week. That's about it.
I don't feel like you're as yellow in 2021.
Thanks. It must just be the not seeing sun for a long time. I'll go sit outside today. Maybe I'll do that. It's a bit hot.
Oh, so hot today. We are definitely putting out the swimming pool tarmac out the backyard. That doesn't happen often in Melbourne. So Allerton's not due. We've got no reporting. If you do the Hannah Intimates one, but I think I'll combine it. We'll talk about it on Wednesday. At least that'll give me what we might combine. As I said, I've had mixed messages. She gave a review and then she said we might as well continue. But then previous to that, she was saying she's probably going to stop. So again, she's a little bit. She's very similar to Alpha Click. Not Alpha Click. Hunter Professional in that. It's one of those things where I think we've given you've done an amazing job with her scheduling and posts and everything, and even the ads. But it's just one of those ones where I just don't. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, the report, like all the numbers in the report, considering we only have one active ad now,
Yeah.
They all look good. So
yeah, so that would be great. Draft that up. Then, as I said, I'll put it in, and then she can make a decision. So,
and then, do you know what's happening with Velos and Velos? Like, is he gone?
not till 18th. So you don't have to schedule him until the 18th. So I'll send him so I'll re-invoice him, and it starts next week. They're not back in his office till the 19th, I think.
Yeah. No, I just didn't know if he was coming back because like they gave that weird message prior to Christmas.
Well, I'm going to invoice him, and the way that we did the report was we understood we were taking a 3-week hiatus. So
yeah. Okay, that's all good then. That's it for my week.
Awesome. Hey, well, everybody actually, I don't know if it's just because I've got a 2021 lens on, but everybody looks a bit better. Maybe my whereby or people's connectivity is stronger in 2021, but it's looking good.
Got some good sleep, good rest.
Yeah, and Hayley, you'll send me the screenshot. I hope my eyes are open.
Wait, can we do another one? I looked at it and like no one looked good.
All right. Really?
Yeah.
I'm just going to do a 1 for 2021.
All right, ready? What are we doing? Are we all doing a 1? I think it's really okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Luck.
Good luck. That's it. You can just add it into Basecamp. I've tried to. So I've got a new 2021 networking one. So maybe just put the picture into there, just into that thread, Hayley, and I'll try and.
Both in, but yeah.
What's that? Yeah. So you'll just put into Basecamp. Let me know where it is. Or Dropbox, I mean. That's all good. Awesome, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. Hannah, you're going to stick around for a little bit.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I'll see other people soon.
Tomorrow?
See you later.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
See everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Live share screen, Steve.
Yeah, and I'll